Hello? Hello to everyone. Everyone, according to this YouTube thing, says one. Concurrent viewer, one. Playbacks, one. I'm having to change things up a little bit because um, apparently YouTube or Google, whatever, it has pulled the YouTube or standard YouTube streaming from its support through Restream, which is how I always ran my streams through. I used to do that so that I could stream from YouTube, Twitch, and Mixer at the same time, just because there were, all those different places, and I wanted to try to have somewhere for people to watch stuff, on the place that they liked. But Mixer went under, and now you have to do YouTube events, which I don't completely understand. From what I understand of those, it's a pre-made thing that goes live. So, and this is it's a pre-made thing that runs at a different time. But anyway, yeah. So I'm streaming this directly to YouTube because YouTube will at least keep this, unlike Twitch, which gets rid of your streams after 2 weeks. So I'd rather stream it on a place where it will stay around, than stream it over Twitch where it's just going to be taken down after a little while. Hopefully I can figure something out to where I can do something with my Twitch page, because I don't like that it's, I don't want it to just sit there. But anyway, that's my own problem to figure out. So what's up? This is Brad, and this is The Bad Show. Granted, I'm having to change things, but we're still going to talk about games. So instead of me ranting about my problems, let's talk about games, because that's what you're here for, I assume. So first things first, Rocket League is going to be going free to play, I think, on the 23rd. Let me search that. Should be going free. I think it was the 23rd. I shall find out shortly. Looks like it. Yeah. Hopefully I'm not wrong on that. But yeah, now the reason why I wanted to start with the news about Rocket League, they already announced a good little while back that they were going free to play, which is exciting. It'll give me another game to check out, because I know it had a little bit of attention before, but it never really seemed like, like something that I was super interested in. But I did want to check it out. But the reason I started with this announcement is that at the same time that this is happening, Fortnite, the thing I usually open with, is doing a sort of cross promotion with Rocket League to celebrate them going free to play, called Llama Rama. And they haven't revealed any information at all about that. So who knows what this could be. I assume it will be something to do with the driving feature that they added to Fortnite in the last season. That's the only thing I can figure out. Don't really know, I really don't know much about Rocket League, other than it's like this weird mix of racing and sport, like a soccer game where you drive cars or something like that. But I don't know. So I think they'll reveal more. They're supposed to reveal more soon. The 23rd is actually, you know what? I didn't even realize what date it was. Just a few days away. So less than a week, half a week just about. So we'll find out more information on all of that very soon. But it's just something to mention. And with that, I guess we can kind of move on. So I managed to work in a little bit of Fortnite talk today. But anyway, something that caught my attention, I think I was going to talk about this last week, and I forgot about it, is that somebody posted some art or something from saying they wanted to see that they liked the crossover from the Power Rangers Legacy Wars game, where Capcom brought in, or where the studio who made the game worked out a crossover with Capcom, which goes even further. There was a short made and everything like that, but they in the Power Rangers Legacy Wars mobile game, you can actually, of course it's a Power Rangers game. There's all sorts of Power Rangers in there. If I'm not mistaken, every Ranger from every season is in there. Because it's a rock paper scissors kind of fighting game. You can dodge a little bit, but it's basically a rock paper scissors game. And I've played it a little bit. I haven't touched it in a long time, even though I actually enjoyed it. But what happened was that Ryu, Cammy, Bison, Chun-Li, and Guile, I think those were the only 5, all ended up as cameo appearances in the Power Rangers Legacy Wars game. And that's a pretty interesting crossover, considering, it's not an actual true fighting game, but Power Rangers Battle for the Grid is. And the team behind Battle for the Grid put the question out to Twitter, retweeting somebody who posted some artwork of it, saying, would people be interested in seeing the Street Fighter Rangers, which are Power Rangers versions, like morphed versions of Ryu and Chun-Li, showing up in Battle for the Grid, because that's a whole nother crossover game as well. And I'm actually really excited about that. I would be completely for that, to throw in Ryu and Chun-Li, not just their Power Rangers, form. I think Chun-Li's is called the Phoenix Ranger or something like that. I don't know what Ryu's is called. But that would be a really cool idea to, Ryu and Chun-Li have pretty much been the go-tos for Street Fighter reps in all these different crossover games. They're in the Marvel vs. Capcom games. They're in the Capcom versus Street Fighter, and Capcom versus Street Fighter, X-Men versus Street Fighter, Capcom versus SNK, Capcom versus Tatsunoko. I mean, they are the 2 big reps for this, and Ryu's in Smash Brothers. So, I mean, and then there's also the Street Fighter Tekken games. So these characters showing up in different fighting games makes sense, because they just do. That's what Chun-Li and Ryu do. They show up in random fighting games of different sorts, and they fight people. So I would love to see that. I think it would make the game a lot, pretty interesting. I mean, as much as I love the concept of the Battle of the Grid, and that it actually is a fighting game for Power Rangers fans, and it's pretty fun to play once you figure it out. It's a little bit different, but it's basically a pretty solid fighting game. I know that visually they would probably stand out a lot because of just how they're just built differently. I mean, they're designed for 2 different, sorts of things, but I would completely approve of Ryu and Chun-Li, even Cammy and Guile and Bison showing up, because imagine you're playing this game and you could do Bison versus Lord Zed and just see which one is the most evil. But also, I didn't know this. They're adding more characters to the game. I did not realize that until last week. I thought the game was done, to be honest. I hadn't kept up with it very much, but they've added 2 more characters. The last, I think, is supposed to be Scorpina, or I can't remember how her name goes. She's from the original series, which I like. I want to see more love for the older Power Rangers generations in this game. Give us some of those more iconic characters. The ones that, we got Zed and Goldar, of course. They're in there. I know that most of the Power Rangers villains are all goofy and corny anyway, but I don't know. I just think that we should. I want to see more love for the old stuff, the classic stuff, but they're doing good. I mean, they've got pretty much all the real popular ones in there already. The red, like my favorites, the red, green, white, and then the Zeo Gold Ranger are all in there already. So that's my 4 favorite Rangers right there. And that's before, I kind of fell out of Power Rangers. They could put Ninjor in there. The big blue guy with the weird talking. He sounded really funny or something like that, even though he was supposed to be like a super ninja who could, make himself into a giant. Put that guy in there. He was in Legacy Wars too, so bring back those goofy characters. They could do the I don't remember what were they called, the Ninjetti or something like that, where it's the different Rangers where they're just wearing like ninja suits. They could do that. That way, it's not just Rangers. I don't know. I'd have to go back and check out my Power Ranger lore and see what slight differences they could do to make things stand out a little more. But anyway, just thought that was a interesting piece of news. We had a Nintendo mini direct partner showcase. We got some interesting games out of that. Let me mix these around a little bit. I got them out of order. The first thing they revealed, and I don't remember all of it, and I'm not going to talk about all the games. There was also a PlayStation thing where they talked about the PlayStation, but I'm not going to talk about. I didn't watch that one. But I do know the big takeaway. Everybody was wondering the price, and we'll get to that in a little bit. But the first game they revealed was Monster Hunter Rise, and I've never played any of the Monster Hunter games, but they've looked kind of cool. I played Dauntless once, and because it was a free to play, and it was Dauntless is free to play, and it looked pretty similar, at least in concept, to you're going after these big monsters. But this game here, this trailer, it looks really good, and it sold me on like yeah, this actually makes me want to play it. And so I'm actually pretty excited about this. I saw on Twitter that the big dog that this guy in the picture is riding on, he that's actually a plushie you can buy. So that's pretty interesting. Give me a second. I'm trying to check this thing. I don't like that Restream is gone. I can't use Restream, man. With Restream I could have a chat box like set up to the side of OBS, so I didn't have to worry about that. Now I've got to have the actual like page pulled up. So I'm just worried about somebody, I'm worried about missing somebody potentially leaving a comment. Even though the chat's pretty quiet. Oh well. Doesn't matter. Anyway, Monster Hunter Rise looks cool. There's a plushie being sold for this big dog. It actually looks really cute. If I would buy it. I don't know if I will, but I would buy it. It's a cute plushie. But yeah, the monsters are interesting. I'm used to seeing like more like dinosaur-like creatures, and this trailer showed off like one looked like a giant platypus. So that's interesting to me, and of course, like there's some like big like eternal dragon-looking thing. Not like the Dragon Ball dragon, but just like it looks like an old elder dragon sort of, creature. Like it has a beard, but it's not a beard. It's like horns on its face. So that was interesting. The second game, they followed that up immediately with Monster Hunter Stories 2. Now, I don't know much about this other than I guess it's more of a traditional RPG kind of game. Just, with Monster Hunter. It definitely looks more anime-ish. I saw somebody say it's like Pokemon, but with Monster Hunter. Sort of. I don't know. That seems to that seems to be hard to imagine, considering how big all the monsters in Monster Hunter tend to be. And so, I don't know. But the trailer did get my attention. Like, it's something to do with, like, the Rathalos are all disappearing or they're leaving their habitats, and there's a Rathalos egg. And apparently you will do battle alongside this one particular Rathalos or something. So, I don't know all that much about Monster Hunter, but this game definitely caught my attention. So, hopefully I can learn a little bit more about that. I would love to play those games. Oh crap. I just realized something. I was going to talk about something and I don't have the images set up for that. I'll talk about them later. I'll talk about them when I get past the actual news. Anyway, another game that came out through the Nintendo Direct was this Disgaea VI. Now, the only real, I don't really. Again, this is another situation where I don't know much about the show. I watched the Disgaea little 12-episode anime series just because I thought it would be something a little different and funny at the time. It's like it's actiony, but it's mostly comedic, which you should be able to tell right away from the art style. And I love the printies. Just the little blue soulless penguin dolls that just go around and say, dude, it's this really high pitch, thing. Those guys make me laugh. But this game, of course, interests me. Apparently the main character is like a zombie that's come back from the dead to take over the world or something, or to challenge the Demon King or something like that. It's an interesting story. I've just never played any of the Disgaea games, so don't know much about it. Just seems like another game to keep an eye on. Then the next game is I don't know who they're going for the target audience, but they specifically they were like, hey, in this game you can fish and pull vegetables, and you might even find a special someone and get married and fall in love. And I'm like, okay, and what you trying to say about your audience there, people? People who play this game have no love life? Okay. Kind of putting down on your fan base there. But this is Rune Factory 5, if I remember that right. Visually, it looks pretty cool. The characters look good. I assume this is just like just one of those self-insert things where you basically play as a anime version of yourself in this particular world where you fight monsters and run a household or something like that. The art style is cool to me. I think it looks like it looks a little Dragon Questy, just without the Toriyama, the Toriyama style. It's a more generic anime look here, but it looks cool. I do wonder how like games like that where you have like the whole romance feature work. How does that work as a an in-game objective? I can't remember ever playing a game. Well, no, I take that back. I can't remember what game it was. It was some game on the Xbox 360 I played where you can do that. Well, and technically, I guess you can do that in Bully. You can work your way up and befriend the ladies, the girls in the at Bullworth and Bully. So I guess that's not entirely true. I have played some of those. Oh well. But I don't think I've had a game where you have a marriage feature. Not counting like The Sims. I played The Sims 2 like way long ago because people were into it for a while, and it. I don't really want to hate on it. It just doesn't seem like it's for me. It's entertaining. It's just not something I would spend a lot of time with. But anyway, this is something to be interested in. And then they closed the Nintendo Mini Direct with I guess this is the second Ori game coming to the Switch. And there's some kind of collector's edition that you get a whole bunch of cool. So that's interesting. I haven't played either or a game, but they look really good. Visually, the art style, the animations in the game, very impressive. I would play it for sure. But let me check this stuff again. I hate that Restream is gone, man. Why did you do this to me? I had to change all that stuff last minute just so I could stream directly to YouTube. It's kind of sad. But anyway, don't really have much else to say other than the mini direct. The whole mini direct was kind of cool to see. It caught my attention, some of the games did, even if I'm not super familiar with them. If this was like a bigger franchise, Pokemon, Mario, Zelda, or just anything like a little bit more known, or I would have more to say. But these are some cool games, and I definitely want to check them out. Now we could move on to some of the more, I guess, disappointing things of the week. We finally got the prices for the PS5, and let me see if I can remember this right off the top of my head. The digital PS5 is $400, $399, and the standard, disc support PS5 is $499, so $500. So this is the same price as the Xboxes, except the digital PlayStation is $400 versus the digital Xbox is $300. I guess people were like, yeah, this makes kind of is expected, I think. But the downside to that was that the games are going to be going up. So whereas the last several years the standard price of games or for new releases has been $60, now on the PlayStation it's going to be $70. That's a lot of money for one game. And look, I get you get into the whole thing with DLC and everything like that. But, and of course you can make the argument you don't have to buy any of the games because they're not necessary for your life. But still, think about that. $70 game? Like $60 is already a lot to pay for one game. And then a lot of games these days, the big ones, you have to pay for the extra content that comes out later. So you're already pouring more money into the game than $60 anyway. So like Smash Brothers on the Switch, okay, $60. The battle passes for both games, I think. What is the cost with both battle passes? It's like $25 for both of them, maybe $30 for the second one. So that's over $100 to get the complete game. And yes, people are going to be willing to pay that, and that's fine, but that's still crazy to think $70 games without DLC. Now you can make the argument that like in the PlayStation thing, eventually those prices will drop, whereas in Nintendo's cases, they don't drop. Nintendo rarely ever drops the prices of their main series games, which is sad. But I don't know, man. It just seemed like a bad decision to make because like gaming is just so big, and gaming is just, game companies are making more money every year. So what is the justification for upping the price? It's not like you're hitting like other than just to make more money. It's like, oh well, if we just keep increasing the price, then people will just keep buying it. Like, yeah, that's true, but it just doesn't seem right. Like, the gaming industry is bigger than it's ever been, and it's still growing, and more people are getting involved in games, and, some of them trying to build careers out of it, just because it's something, like, you can have a career of some sort playing video games, of course. Why wouldn't you want to try to do that? Who wouldn't want to make money playing Mario, or playing the new Spider-Man game, or whatever? Of course it makes sense people want to do that. But this just doesn't sit right with me to want to up the prices of games when 60 is already a lot. Like, I kind of feel like 60 was the absolute top price that people were like, okay, you know, this is silly, but this is my cutoff point. 60 is the absolute most I'm willing to pay for a single game. I feel like bumping it up to 70, people are going to start going, nah, I don't know about this, you know. And plus, not only that, but like the controller for the PS5 apparently is going to run $70 too. Think about that. $70 controller. Like, look, I get it. Like, the wireless controllers for the Switch are $50. And you're going to argue that, like, you know, like there's a benefit to that and making the wireless controller and all that. I don't know how much, a standard, like, the USB controllers for the Switch are like $25. Because I don't know if anybody's seen my Twitter on this. I like to collect some of the Switch controllers, at least with the games that I like. And I have several of them. When I run games on an emulator on my computer, I use the black and silver Mario Star controller, the one that you can take the face off of it and change it out. But I just like this. I like the Star one because if you hold it in the light, it sort of looks like it's shining a little bit. It's a weird little effect. The star itself is sort of shiny when you hold it in the light. So I wouldn't want to change the face of it. But I have like the wireless Super Mario Brothers 3 controller. That was really cool. I think it's the USB version of the original Super Mario Brothers controller. There was 2 variants of that. There's a wireless and a wired version of that one. I got one just regular Mario controller. They're really fun, and I want some. Like, there's one for Spyro the Dragon that I haven't gotten yet. There's a bunch of Pokemon ones. There's a bunch of Animal Crossing ones. I'm bummed out they didn't make one for Luigi's Mansion. Like, I figured they would, like, Luigi's Mansion was, like, the big thing for a little while. And no controller for Luigi. But anyway, the USB controllers are $25. And I just, $70 for a controller, man. Is it worth it? Is it worth that? Can't be. It just can't be. But, I don't know, man. It's probably going to do very well for them. I haven't bought. I have not owned a PlayStation since the second one. I had a PlayStation and I had a PS2, and I could never bring myself to feel like I needed a PS3 or a PS4. I just couldn't do it. Especially with like when they announced Kingdom Hearts 3 was going to be on the Xbox. Like, okay, like the big reason for me to stick around with the PlayStation would be for Kingdom Hearts and maybe the Spider-Man game. But oopsie, they're bringing the Kingdom Hearts games over to the Xbox. And as I talked about last week, I really expected them to bring it to the Switch too, but that's not going to happen. But yeah, I don't like that games are getting so expensive. And yes, I know they've been expensive, and you can go back and historically say they've always been expensive. But I don't know. It just seems like today, like the dollar's not worth as much as it used to be. And just everything just seems like the prices of everything are going up. And it just, your money's not worth as much anymore as it used to be, it seems. So you gotta give more of it to these people who are making plenty of money. Sony's not hurting for money. It's just none of these big gaming companies are struggling. So I don't see any honest justification for it other than it's a way to make more money. So I don't know. Will it hurt them? Will it help them? I I imagine more casual gamers will probably just not buy it and just do without or stick with what they have. Especially like, so many people have a Switch now, and that's a thing you could take with you and play on the go. If most of their games, if most of the games people like to play are on the Switch, and that's something you could put in your purse, your pocket, or whatever the case is, in a bag somewhere, that you can easily take around with you. Why buy this? That's just my take on it. Hopefully, we'll get some price decreases, relatively soon, or some good deals so people won't feel like they have to, sell a body part to get, to play a game they want to check out. But speaking of console, sorrow, apparently Nintendo has announced they are discontinuing production of the Nintendo 3DS. So press F, pour one out. It's a sad day, sad week, I guess, because it wasn't today. Yeah, this is actually one of the best handheld devices I've ever played games on. Honestly, I would say my 3DS that I bought years and years ago. It still works. It's had trouble in the last several years reading DS cartridges from the original DS, but there are some good games on the 3DS. Some really good games. And the system itself is really fun. It makes me sad to see it go, but you know what? With the Switch being today, I get that it's time. It's time to officially retire, this console. It's still sad though. This was a good console. I've said this before, Super Mario 3D Land is one of the most underrated Super Mario games. I know people love 3D World, but 3D Land, in my opinion, is just a funner game to play. The Pokemon Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, those were good games. The story was good. There was a mystery element there that just worked really good. And the whole thing with the Ultra Beasts, are they Pokemon? Are they not Pokemon? I think that it was a little disappointing to find out they were just, they were alternate dimension Pokemon. That they're still Pokemon, but they're just from an alternate dimension. Like, I think that's not quite as exciting as the idea that these might be some non-Pokemon entities that you could fight. But it's those were good series. They ported Dragon Quest VIII to the 3DS. Love that game. Loved it on the PS2. Loved it just as much on the 3DS. I hope they'll bring it up. I hope that with the 3DS being discontinued, that maybe we'll get more 3DS ports to the Switch. Even if you have to buy them again. But what other games were there on the 3DS that were really good? I mean, the Zelda remakes, Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time. Those were pretty good. They really brought those games, into the more modern era of gaming for when they came out. I remember the AR cards from when the 3DS was new, where you could lay down different cards and you'd have 3D models show up in AR of like Mario, and you could give him like a couple of different poses, make him look like he's jumping or sitting down or just standing. There were some, I think, for Samus, Kirby, Link, a couple of others too. But that was fun to play with when the whole system was new. The eShop, of course, they gave you the original Pokemon games. They fixed those up to where you could play those on your 3DS, and then you could transfer them up to the Gen 7 games. So, like, if you played Red or Yellow, and then later Silver and Gold, you could bring those characters up. And that was the first time that the Gen 1 and Gen 2 games were compatible with the modern era. Because remember, the whole thing with between Gen 2 and Gen 3 was that the changes were too great to the game or something like that, that they could not make Silver and Gold compatible with Ruby and Sapphire. So this was a way to kind of correct that. And that was a cool little thing. I don't think I ever finished Silver, though. I never finished Silver on that thing. I need to go back and do that. Oh, and one of my favorite features that they added around the time for Gen 5 was a Pokédex Pro. It's like you could download this little Pokédex. It's a little 3D Pokédex. It comes with 3D models of all of the Pokemon. At first, it was just for the new ones from Generation 5, so you got all those. But then they later went back and added them all in a separate app. And then there was Pokemon Dreamcatcher, which lets you get some of the missing legendary Pokemon. That was an interesting game. I think I got most of the ones from that. What else was there? Oh yeah, with the 3D Pokédex, you could do AR with it too, and I had several pictures saved on my 3DS where I would put Pokemon out and just like out in my yard. I set up a picture with the AR Pokemon stuff and the little AR cards you could get, where there's a picture on my DS of where it looks like Samus is fighting a Reshiram. So, or Reshiram, however you supposed to pronounce that Pokemon's name. I thought that was cool that you could do little things like that. But the Pokédex, the whole thing with the Pokédex that was really cool was that it would give you all the information you needed on Pokemon, like what level they learn certain moves at, what egg groups are they compatible with, their evolution requirements. That was a fun little thing to have, on the go. Otherwise, you would be spending, your time on Cerebi, jumping between on your computer or you're on your phone looking up stuff on Cerebi. Well, they just gave you that information there. Now, they never bothered to update it that I'm aware of it. But that was a fun little feature to have. And on top of that, one little thing that I want to add before I get off of the 3DS is that the little music that plays in the backgrounds and the menus is really good, especially the one that plays when you're on the internet settings screen. I would sometimes just turn my DS on and go to the internet settings and just listen to the little music. It's very relaxing. It's a very short loop, and like certain instruments drift in and out, and then it gets real low and it picks back up again. It's a very nice piece of music. So if you go check that out, you can find it on YouTube, but it's a nice little thing. I never used the 3D feature on here very often. I used it, like, it was helpful in 3D Land, in Mario 3D Land. Otherwise, I kept it off. It was cool to see for a little bit, but then it was just like, it gets a little annoying. It gets old quick. But it's a cool feature they were able to build that into the system itself, that you could just slide it on and off. I remember the big controversy. Oh, it's giving kids headaches. Like, this is bad for kids. It's giving them headaches. I'm like, just turn it off. Just slide the little thing down, off. Boom, it's fixed. Like, it amazes me and how stupid people can be sometimes. It's just like, the 3D feature of the 3DS is giving my child a headache. Tell them to turn it off. You literally just have to push the little thing down on the side. I don't understand it. Anyway, good system. I'll miss it. Still use mine. But a great system, and but the Switch is the new handheld. I know it's both a home console and a handheld, which is why it's doing so well. But this will be this is the end of the true handheld consoles. So thank you 3DS for all of your service. we'll get into a little bit more stuff. The fun side, since we're talking about the Switch now. Got another little update that I can't remember what day this dropped, but Nintendo announced that they were adding some more games to the Super NES catalog and the NES catalog to Nintendo Switch Online. The only one I think is worthy of any interest or attention at all is Donkey Kong Country 2. So that is finally on the Switch Online service. It wasn't that long ago that they threw up Donkey Kong Country, the original one. So that has me wondering, they've suddenly taken an interest in the Donkey Kong Country games and putting those online. Could there be a potential new Donkey Kong Country game coming? Food for thought? I think that would be interesting. Like, I know that they're not really talking much about Donkey Kong, and Donkey Kong generally doesn't get much love from Nintendo these days outside of the old, outside of it being Mario's introduction. You don't really see too much love for Donkey Kong. I hope that them sort of slowly dropping the Donkey Kong Country games, within a close, amount of time of each other. Because there's another Donkey Kong Country 2. There's Donkey Kong Country 3, which I've never played. I've beaten the first two. I've never played the third one. So I would like to think maybe this is their way of sort of and I don't remember the last Donkey Kong game. Wasn't the Tropical Freeze or whatever it is? Didn't that come out at the launch of the Switch? I mean, it's a port from a Wii U game, if I'm not mistaken. So it's not even a new game. So maybe, just maybe, and this is this is just speculation. Maybe, just maybe, there might be some support for a new Donkey Kong game coming. I think it would be fun. I remember I bought Donkey Kong Country Returns, and I don't think I played it very much. I kind of want to play it now. But who knows? Either way, if you've never played Donkey Kong Country or Donkey Kong Country 2, go check those out. I can't really say much about 3 because I didn't play it, but those two games are very fun. The music in the game is very good. And they're challenging games. You can't just rush through them in a way you can sort of rush through Mario levels, but Donkey Kong, you can't quite do that. There's something about it. It's just the way those games work. You can't just run through that game. But anyway, go check out Donkey Kong Country. And I don't have the images for these because I thought I already saved them, and I don't really feel like going and digging them up. Well, you know what? I'll do it. I got 10 more minutes. Because there's two games that I've seen people playing recently that I really want to play. And I just haven't gotten to yet. But people have been playing these two games recently, and they look really fun. And they look kind of simple, too. Okay, here's the first one. Let me get the image saved. Working some magic here. Wait, somehow I already have this one. Oh, boy. Oops. Well, you saw the first one. Fall Guys. technical difficulties. Um. Anyway, yeah. Fall Guys is, I've seen so many people play that. I think that's a brand new game, or not a brand new game, but this more anyway. But people were playing that, and it looks really fun. And the whole goal seems to be to either, from what I understand of it, from what I've seen people play, it seems like the whole goal is to race, like on an obstacle course, or play in like some sort of like survivor mode where you're on various platforms. But once you leave the platform, it disappears, so you can't backtrack. Once you commit to going in a certain direction, you got to stay in that direction. You got to move forward. And the goal is to literally just be the last man standing and not to fall. And it looks like a really fun, simple game. It looks simple. Let me put it that way. It looks simple. The idea is simple, but you've got to be quick on, you got to be quick on your feet to where you can make split-second decisions so that you don't end up losing. It looks really fun, and hopefully I'll get to play that at some point, because I think that could be some fun viewing for you. And then there's another game that I've been seeing around. I thought was new as well, but apparently it's not new. It's just only recently gotten attention. It's just like literally sort of like a fad. It just kind of showed up. And that is Among Us, as I reposition this image. Excuse me. Oops. Cut the side off a little bit. There we go. That looks good. Yeah, apparently this game came out in like 2018. So it's been around for a while, but for some reason, I guess streamers just started picking it up and had a lot of fun with it, and now it's sort of like the new fad game everybody's playing right now. Again, a simple looking game that actually looks really interesting and fun and interactive. I watched the Yo Video Games guys playing it last night, and they were playing over Discord, so they could actually talk to everybody. Apparently that's not built into the game. I thought it was at first, and I was like, okay, that's kind of weird. Even though it didn't make sense thinking about it that way, I thought it was built like that. Just because I'm an idiot. But anyway, it looks really fun. And the way the Yo Video Games guys were playing it, like I said, though, they were doing it over the mic, and so the point is that the point of the game is you play from like 4 to 10 players, and depending on how many you have, you either have 1 or 2 imposters on your ship, and only you know what team you're playing on. You're either part of the crew or you're one of the imposters. So your goal is, as a part of the crew, is to repair the ship and do all your tasks. And if all the crew members do their tasks, you win the game. But if the imposters sabotage everything and destroy the ship, they win. At the same time, the imposters can kill you off one by one. And then it's up to... And then if you come across like one of your partner's dead bodies, you can it then puts it to a vote as to who everybody thinks is an imposter. And then at that point, the goal is to kick somebody off the ship. You either vote to kick somebody off the ship or vote to not kick somebody off the ship, because you don't know who's telling the truth. So the whole point of this game is to figure out who's the best deceiver, who's the best liar, who can cover up their tracks enough to get out of being ejected into into oblivion. So it's a fun looking game. I can't believe this is a game that didn't catch on 2 years ago. But that's just how things work sometimes. Something that's old becomes new. And I would love to play this. I think it's only $5 on Steam. I might have to try this. But I just wanted to mention those games because I think anything that looks really fun, or people could enjoy playing is worth, at least giving a shout out to. So, anywho, that's all I got as far as discussing things. I do have one more thing I want to talk about though. That is something from me that's coming to the channel that I've decided to do. And if it gets popular or if people enjoy it, I want to try to make this a regular thing. I'm going to be reacting or doing live commentary on old episodes of cartoons that were based on video games. So I wanted to do something special for, we're in the middle of the next 6 months will be a celebration of the Super Mario Brothers 35th anniversary. And so I thought, what would be fun? I'll go back and watch old episodes of the Super Mario Brothers Super Show and just do live reactions to them, or more accurately, live commentary, because I've seen all these episodes a million times, and I realize that the show itself may not be the biggest quality, This show's writing's not going to win any awards. It didn't. But I enjoyed watching it as a kid, and I still enjoy it for what it is today. But I just thought this would be a fun way to show, some love for Mario. Get some variety on my channel besides just me playing games. I'm trying to do different ideas and see what sticks and what doesn't. And this way I can somewhat incorporate my love of animation and cartoons into my gaming channel, and it still be, on theme, and it still be about games. But say, I would watch the Super Mario Brothers Super Show, but not, say, Dragon Ball, because the Super Mario Brothers Super Show the games came first in Mario's case. The show is based on the games, whereas Dragon Ball's games are based on the show, or the manga specifically. So that's why I wouldn't do something like that. But mostly I would like to go back and do these old, these really old, I think this show started in the late 80s. So I would go back to that era, maybe the late 80s or early 90s when I was really little. Because there's a bunch of cartoons from that era that would fit, that are almost exactly sort of in the same situation as this. You've got, of course, the Mario Super Show. Then there's the sequel series of that, which is Mario Brothers 3. Then there's Super Mario World. As everybody knows, Zelda got paired with the Mario Super Show. So there's the Zelda cartoon. Captain N the Game Master is this big crossover show. I think Mario, Luigi, Zelda, and Link all appear in that show at some point. Not to mention Mega Man and Pit and Simon Belmont and all those. Tons of characters show up in that show. They're almost unrecognizable from how they look today, but they're still there. There's the Sonic the Hedgehog cartoon. There's several Sonic the Hedgehog cartoons that are old. The Donkey Kong CG show. I remember trying to get up early on Saturday or Sunday mornings to catch that show on TV. I was like, there's a Donkey Kong cartoon? I was blown away by it. But I would love to go back and watch some of those old stuff. What else is there? There's got to be more than that. I don't know. And then I could do something if this sticks around for a while, that just came back to my head. There's Christmas in Pac-Land, which is a Hanna-Barbera Christmas special. I don't believe there was a Hanna-Barbera Pac-Man series, though. I think that was a one-off. I could be wrong, because I don't remember there being a series. But I could watch that because, of course, it's based on Pac-Man. So there's plenty of things to look to. There's plenty of material out there I could do this for. And I think it would just be funny to share some of those old cartoons. Some of them are cringeworthy, but it could be fun. But that's all I got. Hopefully that'll work out. I'm hoping that this will start on Wednesday, and Wednesday will be my I was going to call it something like Watch and Talk or something like that. I don't know. Try to come up with something catchy, but I could just make it a Wednesday thing. I've got like Mondays are my Mugen days, where like later in the evening I'll have a new Mugen video every Monday, in addition to my regular gameplay videos that go live at like 12 or so every single day. Every Friday there's a new Fortnite video. So trying to come up with more content and more ideas and keep them all different enough that, that if you may not like one thing, maybe you'll like this other. So it's just some different ideas to try. But anyway, that's it for the show. I got to go figure out how to, I got to get more comfortable with this YouTube interface for streaming, since Restream has taken it from me. But, anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I gotta figure out what to do with my Twitch channel too, because that was the whole reason I had that in the first place, was to try to stream from to both at the same time. But anyway, I'll figure something out, come up with an idea. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Go watch all my other stuff, and we'll see you next time. Later.
Do the Mario, swing your arms from side to side. Come on, it's time to go. Do the Mario, take one step, and then again, let's do the Mario all together now. You got it. It's the Mario. Do the Mario, swing your arms from side to side. Come on, it's time to go. Do the Mario, take one step, and then again, let's do the Mario all together now. Come on now, just like that.